Good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you are watching this. I am so excited, as always, for this week's episode of our live series. I mean, at this point, we have done over 40 of these every week since the beginning of I guess, yeah, 52 weeks in a year. So I think I saw 40 videos last time I checked. But either way, we have been in this game Wednesdays on different topics around corporate contracts and all of that all year long. And now we have gotten to fourth quarter. So we're going to amp up the heat a little bit. I'm going to be issuing out some challenges to you guys because now is a very imperative time to jump into this if you're serious, right? Fourth quarter is like game time, Super Bowl, in it to win it, like last game shot in this corporate contract game. So I want to make sure that you all, not only clients that work with me, but also you all in my community are important to me as well. So as much as I can serve you all on these episodes, I want to do that. And so a part of my priorities with the community is to continue to make sure you guys are also prepared for fourth quarter and you're tapping into these opportunities. So hopefully you can hear me. I see my Wi-Fi kind of going in and out. Okay, maybe it's just StreamYard. But yes, so this live is going to be talking to you today about how you can tap into some of these low-hanging fruit opportunities in quarter four. So here's the thing. You've probably been saying, I'm going to get into corporate contracting. This is something that I want to do. I might need to get some things put into place. I've had people tell me this is something they're going to do next year and, or next quarter and all the things. Let me tell you something. You can wait till next year if you want to. But as for the people who are ready, and as for the people who already know the game, they're tapping in right now. They're not waiting till next year. And the good thing that I want to make sure you all are reminded, so I'm going to have to say this on every live, you all are more prepared than you think. You just likely need to get a few things in place. And that's why I'm here to support you. This is why I'm here to deliver content, because I want you to know that the opportunity is right in front of you. Stop waiting. Stop thinking you don't have it, or how are you going to get it together, or saying that you don't have time, because who doesn't have time for bigger checks in their business? I don't know anybody, no matter how much you're making. If you're in business, your number one goal is to make money, then how could you not have time for bigger checks? Explain it to me. I want to know. So for those of you who are like, yes, I just need to figure out how, these lives are going to help you tap into that Q4 opportunity in particular. Okay. So I jump right in as I always do. But my name is Kirsten Allen. For those who are new, I know that I get people added to my community. And so maybe you haven't seen what I do in the world, but essentially we won't take the whole live to explain that. But I am a corporate contract strategist and also a leadership consultant and trainer. But on this channel and in this community, what I do is I help entrepreneurs translate their expertise into landing corporate contracts. So what does that mean? I help them package their offers. There's an ad in here. I help them package their offers to attract corporations. I help them with figuring out where to find leads and also how to what to say in order to carry on a conversation that leads to a closed deal. And so this is not just spaghetti on the walls. I've been able to take the process that I've had working for two of the large Fortune 500 companies in B2B sales and took that same process to make it a simplified route for entrepreneurs to get corporate contracts in their business. So I'm not new to this. This is something that I've done to the tune of millions inside of well-oiled machines. And so being able to take that experience and show you how you can do the same thing is literally been the breadth of this side of the business. And I'm excited to be able to share that with you through these lives. We're here every Wednesday talking about topics around this. And so if this is of interest to you, make sure you tune in 4 p.m.-ish Eastern, depending on how things go. We are here on different topics, okay? So let's talk about Q4. So I know some people aren't even familiar with that language. So I want to make sure that we are all on the same page. Quarter four, there's 4 quarters in a year. And not to make this complicated, because I think my corporate brain goes left, because sometimes a fiscal year is different from a calendar year. So we're going to keep it simple and just talk about the calendar year. January to March is quarter one, Q1, 1Q, all the same thing. April to June, Q2, July through September, Q3, and then October to December is Q4. Okay, so now we all got that together. Now, what you'll notice is that Q4 is also at the end of the year. So, but companies that operate on a fiscal year that aligns with the calendar year, meaning their budget starts on January 1st. Of course, they have quarterly budgets, but the budget starts on January 1st and then ends on December 31st. I'm trying to keep this very basic. At this point, they have budget and funds that have been allocated for the year or for a particular quarter. It just depends on how the organization is set, that they need to spend or they will otherwise lose, basically. And not only is it lost, but when the budget cycle opens up again for the next year, they're going to say, oh, well, we didn't spend enough money here, so we have money left over. We don't need to have this budget again next year because clearly we don't need this much of whatever that bucket is for. That's not a good thing for us as entrepreneurs, because we don't want our budgets getting we don't want our budgets shrinking down. We want to make sure the money that they have to do business with us is always flourishing. So what does that mean? We need to get in front of them, not only now is the prime time because they're looking to spend, but on an ongoing basis. We need to be in front of them. We need to be sharing what we do. We need to be talking about how we can serve their organizations and pitching ourselves when it's appropriate, putting together packages that serve these audiences because they want to work with us. And truth be told, I'll say this part as well, part of the work that I do, because I am also a corporate vendor as well, and I do things on behalf of clients to get them introduced to people who can make the decisions, is they cannot find enough people who are qualified. So they're setting aside budgets, they're committing to doing business with minorities or women-owned business or just small businesses in general, and not enough people are showing up. So who is that on, right? We want opportunities. As a small business, we know we need them to be able to grow. So these corporations are saying, we want to work with small business owners. But then they're saying, but no one's coming that's prepared and qualified. I don't know about y'all, but that burns me up. I'm like, what? They set aside money for us and they can't find people? Oh, we're knocking on doors. We're going to make sure that people who are serious about this, who have an expertise, who are prepared to go in these corporations, they are there and knocking on the doors and providing the expertise that they have. And so my role is, how can I make sure more people in my community are getting prepared for these opportunities so that they're not, one, seen as unqualified, and two, not even tapping into opportunities that are right here in their backyard. And I mean, literally, you guys, opportunities are all around you. Once you begin to focus on it, and if you're someone who needs to get support, once you get that support with it, you'll begin to just start to see. I go into places now and I'm just looking at how people are interacting and I'm like, this is interesting. This could be an angle. This could be an opportunity. And so once you begin to focus and see what the opportunity is for you, can't unsee it. It's everywhere around. You just haven't awakened to it yet. And so we've got to end this. They can't find enough people. And there's the prime time to do that is right now, where they have money. They're open to having conversations. You get on a phone call with them. Everything goes well. You're the expert that they need. They're going to go and hire you. Period, point blank. They have the money. So while we're peddling, trying to get the next person, and again, there's nothing on this because I'm obviously, we need to have diverse businesses where we serve both individuals as well as corporations. But think about it. If you're just only spending your time in one area and focusing on one segment in business, you're missing out on an opportunity. And I'm not going to say give because you have to be qualified, but they're ready to write the checks on the things that you are doing right now. I talk to people just about every day. And I haven't come to many instances yet where people tell me something that I don't think could be sold in a corporate arena, in a nonprofit arena, or within universities and schools. There is all something. At the end of the day, all of you all are entrepreneurs. Y'all can speak about leadership and what it takes to run a business and have resilience to be able to do that. We are all PhDs in resilience and figuring things out and productivity and all these things that corporations are looking to master. You have the juice, but if you don't put it in front of people and present it in the right way, they're not going to tap into you. They're going to move on to other people who are probably less qualified and work with them. I see people who are getting these large contracts and I go to their website or I'll go to their social media, right? And I'll be like, wow, this is very basic. This is like the bare bones. Like they really, said, hey, we're just going to get this up as a minimum viable type of deal. But then I talk to people and they're like, oh, well, I work on corporate contracts right now. I'm growing my YouTube channel, or, I got to do my website and things of that nature. And I'm like, okay. But in my mind, I'm like, baby, if you knew what was on the other side for you, you would not be worried about that, because these people who are getting these top dollar opportunities that everybody is saying they want, they're not focused on these things. They're focused on building relationships. They're focused on getting in front of the right people who could sign the checks. They're not playing around online hoping to, make some things shake. They're very strategic about who they're talking to and how they spend their time. That's what it's going to take. And so I talk to a lot of people who want to get into corporate, but it seems more like a nice to have versus a must have. And I'm here to let you know it is a must have. It is a must have to be able to expand and diversify your business in this way. And not only that, it can't wait. So fourth quarter, some things that you want to start to have in place so that you can tap into these opportunities is, number one, you have to have an understanding of how what you do translates to the priorities. And so some of the things that you want to think about is, what I tell people is, go a couple of layers up. I just did an interview the other day or earlier today, and I talked about this. We're thinking this is who we serve. These are the individuals that we do, and we're just leaving it at that. However, in that, you have more that is beyond just what your outcome is with individuals. It's way beyond that. I'd be willing to bet. We gave an example of a relationship coach earlier, and I actually have some friends of mine who are relationship coaches and interested in corporate. And I'm like, this is going to be so good, because relationship and communication are not just something that's good in marital situations or partners. Strengthening a relationship can mean doing better business, can mean working together better as a team. So again, it may not be, let me help you have a better marriage. It could be, well, what are those things that you're doing to help them have a better marriage? Oh, well, they have to communicate better. Oh, they have to, consider one another's needs, things of that nature. Okay. So in corporations, how can strengthening communication and operating from looking at the needs of your team members or your leaders make you a better employee and more productive? Now, you said relationship, but I say communication and collaboration. Top dollar things that corporations are looking to get better at. And if you've mastered that, you might not even have to go down the whole point of your process to help people have a better marriage. You could just focus on, how can I help people communicate better so that they can be more effective in the workplace? That's something that can be a viable corporate offer that you can package that you could probably do all day. You probably talk about that on your YouTubes and your free trainings. This does not have to be hard, you all. It really does not. It doesn't have to take a ton of time. Sometimes you all are getting stalled even on the processes before starting to have the conversations. I had a client, which I shared this before, and I will keep sharing these stories because I want you to see how easy this is for you. Well, how simple it can be. I try to get away from saying easy, how simple it can be. Because I just recently had a client that I've worked with. She's been with me for some time. And she implemented a strategy as we made a shift to universities and was able to book a new client in 2 weeks. And what I didn't say on when I talked about this was her first sale in her business, y'all. Her first sale in the entire history of her business was a contract with the university. And so some of you might be thinking, oh, well, I have to, do this work with individuals first. Like all the I have to or I should to our shoulds, I can likely tell you a person that's done it without doing that. She did it. Her first sale was a contract with the university, and she closed it in 2 weeks. What did she do? She reached out to them because it's important to get in front of them with the strategic message. They got on a call. She killed it. I was there on the call with her and booked the sale within 2 weeks. So it does not have to be hard. What she had was the expertise, which many of you have. So let's get up. Let's show them. Let's show them what we have. Let's stop procrastinating or overthinking or, kind of just towing the line on it sounds like something that I could do one day and tap into it now. Right now is the opportunity. Okay. And so I mentioned, having that message. So you don't have to have all of your, what I mentioned this earlier on the call that I was on that was shared on this page. So you may have seen this. I said, having your capability statement and all of that stuff is great, but don't let that stuff stop you from having a conversation, from building relationships, because that's where all this comes from, building relationships. So have a conversation, be open to doing that, even while you're getting some of these pieces together. If you get an opportunity the first time you talk to someone, just like I said on that call earlier, call me and I'll help you out. But at least go out there and get started. Everyone can send an email today. There's not anyone watching this live that cannot send an email to a decision maker today. They're all on LinkedIn. Give me another roadblock. They're all on LinkedIn. You can find someone and reach out to them today. And that could be the start of an opportunity. That's where it all begins. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having corporate experience. It's not about all of these things. It's about having a conversation and being clear on what you have to offer and understanding what priorities they align to. I would say, quite honestly, that's the only thing that you need to know. What's in it for them? What out of what you have in your expertise, how is that a benefit to the corporation, to the school system, to the university, to the nonprofit? With that, you can begin to open doors and have conversations. And then you can figure out everything else from there. Yes, before you sign on the dotted line or they make you, you make a proposal and they accept, you need to have things in order by then. But right now, with where some of you all can start conversations, you can do that today. Okay. So we talked about budgets expiring. We also talked about, being able to set yourself up, number one, for 2025, because you're already having conversations with people where maybe they can pay you this quarter, but the engagement may not be till next quarter. They have the budget to spend now, but maybe the need is actually for the future. So you can set yourself up to be paid early, which a lot of times does not happen. In some cases, companies, corporations can be able to do deposits and things like that. But a lot of times their first point of negotiation is to pay you 30 days after an engagement has happened. Not to say that's always the case, but that is a typical industry standard. And so what if you could get paid now because it's advantageous to both of you and then do the work later? What y'all think about that? Let me know. So tapping into those opportunities could open that door up for you. And then the last thing that I'll say on this, as we're talking about Q4 and just the opportunity, is that these decision makers are already looking and planning. So to talk more again about next year, they're already looking and planning on who they're going to work with. The client that just recently got that contract within 2 weeks, this is just the first engagement that she's doing with this university. Next year and every year after that, they're planning to have the same programming. And the decision maker already said, because like I told you, I was on the call, she already said, when I like people, I keep them on for our future programming. So it's gone from one engagement to yearly, in addition to some other things that they talked about. So getting in now is not just about landing one contract. It's about setting yourself up to be a preferred vendor, or what I call a thought partner, a collaborator with these organizations that can set you up for recurring opportunities. One of my big things as well that I say oftentimes is it's not about just the one contract, because once you can get in the door with organizations, depending on how big they are, depending on, what type of organization, you could literally start to penetrate different departments, and all of a sudden one account is what we would call it, but one client can account for several different contracts as you continue to go deeper and build additional relationships. So this is why it's important to start with, what is that high level expertise? Because as much as niching down is so important in the consumer space, actually in the corporate space, and especially in government as well, when they like you, because relationships are everything, when they like you, they want to know what else you can do, how else they can partner with you. Well, we got this over here too. If you can do this, then that saves us from having to find somebody else and then, trying to trust somebody else to do something when we already have a relationship. So we want to know everything that you can do, or who you may have as a partner, so that you can come in and help us with this as well. That's the juice of being a thought partner and a collaborator, and positioning yourself not just as, hey, I'm going to come in and talk to your staff, to no. Well, when you shared this with me, some things came up for me. Here's what I noticed. Here's some holes that I see in this process. What if we could do X, Y, and Z to address your priorities? What if we could, figure out how we can move some things around, or maybe do this particular presentation at this time to be able to support the employees? When you approach it as that, now all of a sudden they're like, hey, it's not just we got a contract. It's, hey, we have this problem. We need this fixed. Help us map this out and tell us what the price is. That could be trainings. That could be consulting work. That could be doing speaking at retreats or company events. That could be doing courses on demand. Companies pay for that. I just had a contract earlier this year to do some on-demand courses. All of these opportunities become available to you once you really hone into your expertise and then build those relationships. Because again, they're going to want to know what else you can do, how else you can serve them. Who else do you know that is already in your network that's vetted that could help us with this? And so it would be a huge benefit to you all to start to have those conversations, but approach them as the expert that you are. And that's a part of the work that we do too, outside of just teaching the skill set, also helping people tap into, hey, this is how you got to come to this call. You can't show any type of, I'm not going to say weakness, but you can't show any type of uncertainty in what you do. You need to show up as the expert that you are. And remember, you're not there to be an expert in corporate and how corporate works and how their organization works. You are solely there to be an expert in what you do and what you bring to the table. That's it. So don't let the mind stuff start to get all over the place and cause you to shrink back or cause you to feel like, I'm not sure how I have an opportunity here, because you do. Stand in that and make sure that you're showing up like that, and make sure you're doing outreach that represents the fact that you have a space in this arena. So as we kind of wrap things up, I hope you can tell that this is a passion of mine that I want more people to be exposed to and to tap into and take action. The biggest thing, whether you work with me or not, and I'm not saying that as a flowery thing, I deeply mean this. Whether you work with me or not, even if you got off this live, sent an email and got a contract and never paid me a dime, I will celebrate you for taking action based upon what we discussed today. Hands down. I've done it with other people. People have taken my free information and have gotten wins out of it, and I celebrate them just as I would a paying client. So what's most important to me is for people to take action with this information. Reach out. The worst they can do is say no or not respond. And either way, there are 50 billion other people to talk to, right? So also think of it as that. If you do get a no, or if you get some type of pushback, on to the next. We should be doing so many of these that a no doesn't even, it's like, oh, I reached out to you. Oh, okay, cool. Next, because I already got this going on. One thing that I remind all of my clients is that even when you get a call booked, or even when you get a deal closed, the grind doesn't stop. Not the grind. I know that's not a word y'all like. The process doesn't stop. That's what I'll say. The process does not stop. You are still charged with doing outreach, with making those connections and building those relationships. Because here's the thing, why are we really doing this? Yes, to expand our business, to be able to grow and all of those things. But also, most of us, I know a lot of the people I'm connected to, have a heart to serve. That's why you're doing this anyway. And so with that service, corporations, governments, universities, whoever, this gives you another source or stage to serve on. Another group of people that you would have likely never otherwise tapped into or served if you hadn't taken the opportunity to reach out to these organizations that have people who need you too. So no, it's not just entrepreneurs that need you. It's not just one segment that needs you. There are many others that can get value, that can get freed, unlocked, whatever it is that you do, transformed through your work, through your speaking about your work, through you training on your methods. And so allow them to experience that. So that's the bigger thing. Beyond the money, that's the way that I see it, is the impact. So are you ready to step up and make that impact? If the only thing standing between you is a few emails and conversations, let's go ahead and get that out the way, because they need us. They're looking for us. They're saying they don't have enough people. They're prioritizing doing business with small businesses and finding that they aren't qualified. Let's get qualified, okay? All right, I could go on and on and on and on, but I think this was good for this week. Now, I want to make an invitation to you guys, 2 invitations. One is going to be to join me for my masterclass that I'm teaching next week. So the page is still getting ready. If you would like to get the link once the page is ready, it should be ready this evening, because the masterclass is going to be next Wednesday, October 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern. There is a general admission and VIP, so everyone can get in where they fit in, absolutely. But we're going to go deeper into this fourth quarter stuff, and I want to really talk through what I'm seeing as opportunities right now, where to find these leads, and then give you what the process would look like to really tap into these opportunities before the year is out. So I gave you kind of the why. I got you all behind my movement of get corporate contracts now. But I want to show you deeper on the opportunity and make sure that you have the steps to be able to go after them and present yourself. And so we are going to do that. In next week's masterclass, it is going to be either housed in the Facebook group or on Zoom, depending on what level you choose. And so I will send the link to those who comment masterclass here soon, once I get the page ready. Tech has been techie. So we'll get that out to you. So that is happening. So you have an invitation to join me in that next week. It's going to be amazing. This is an opportunity to get a clear path to tap in. So the thing about the masterclass, though, it's not for people who just information gathering. This is timely information. So this masterclass is only for people who are ready to take action right now and get these opportunities. You get your seat, you're good. But if you're just kind of, oh, well, maybe I'll figure it out one day, and not to say you got to come in having everything together, because I'm going to help you to get things together and figure out what you need to have in place. But I need you to be committed to taking action. I need you to say, I don't know everything, but I'm committed to taking action. So if you choose to accept my invitation to that masterclass, that's what you can expect there. And then, as always, with how I lead these lives, I would love to invite you to come in even deeper and work with me. So the opportunities to work with me are always open. The link is in my bio. I'll also post it here once we wrap this live. But if you go to kirstenjallen.com/WWK, you can book a call with me where we can talk about your particular goals around corporate contracts, what you feel like you're missing, what you feel like you need to have in place in order to capitalize on them. And we can help you figure that out, number one, and build a plan to getting there. And then you can also get my support in doing that. And so if you are interested, go ahead and book your call so that you can get set up for fourth quarter. Okay. So the link to that will be here. If you want to go get it early, it's over in my bio in my headline section. You'll be able to see that there and click that. It'll be some application questions to fill out. And then we will be able to get on a call together and figure out how I can support you. I want y'all to max me out. Use my brain. Let's get it. Whatever your situation is, max me out this quarter as much as you can with making sure that you get these opportunities in the door before the year is out. I have made myself available to serve. And so if you are interested in coming in deeper, go ahead and click that link. Let's have a conversation and see if it may even be a good fit for you. Some of y'all don't even want to have the conversation, right? To see if that could be a good fit. You've already counted yourself out, or you're already saying I'm too busy, or I can't, send this out. I can't do this. I can't. Let's have the conversation and see what you can do and see how we can support you, because there may be some ways that you haven't even thought about that you could get support in and get you on your way. Okay. So with that being said, look out for the masterclass link. If you're interested in coming in deeper, we are always open to discuss options to work with us. We have many different options. And so we'll talk with you to figure out what may be the best fit for you based on what you need. All right, guys. So I will catch you all next Wednesday. I will still be doing a live that day. And then we'll also have the masterclass that evening. All righty. Talk to you all soon.